Hello everyone, it's time for Good Week Israel, where we will give you ILTV's latest positive highlights. Get ready to smile because coming up, former IDF soldier who was held captive by Hamas in Gaza for 5 years just got married. The Israel Defense Forces unveiling a laser with the ability to shoot down drones, rockets, and mortars. And finally, an entire new species of human appears to have been discovered in Israel, and it's seriously shaking up our species family tree. Honduran President Juan Orlando Hernandez came to Israel to dedicate the new Honduran embassy in Jerusalem and the reopening of the Israeli embassy in Tegucigalpa. Prime Minister Naftali Bennett praising Hernandez as a true and consistent friend to Israel.
כבוד הנשיא, תחת ההנהגה שלך, הונדורס עומדת באופן עקבי לצד ישראל במוסדות הבינלאומיים, כשזה לא תמיד פופולרי, ולפעמים זה גם כרוך בתשלום מחיר, וזו העדות לחברות, המוכנות לעשות פעולות כולל תשלום מחיר. אני רוצה להודות לך ולציבור בהונדורס על אותה תמיכה.
Voy convencido que ahora más que nunca comenzamos a fortalecer como con ninguna otra nación en el mundo las relaciones con Israel. Aprecio mucho su presencia en los próximos minutos, también abriendo ya nuestra embajada, y sé que esto será bueno para Honduras, y como lo dije antes, más allá de mi presidencia, queremos que esto sea una decisión que perdure en el tiempo. Y por eso agradezco a los líderes del Congreso de Honduras que están aquí, y también a los líderes del mundo cristiano que se convertirán en garantes de que esto no retroceda. Como sabrán, este es un año de elecciones en Honduras. Es mi sincero deseo que el próximo presidente de Honduras, sea del partido que sea, mantenga esta decisión. Y lucharé por eso.
Meanwhile, the Honduran and Israeli foreign ministry officials signing agreements on expanding cooperations between countries, including a bilateral memorandum of understanding over projects in agriculture, water resource management, health, and the sharing of information regarding developing innovations. Moving on, the future is here. Israeli Defense Force officials confirming the success of a plane-mounted prototype that can shoot down drones with a high-powered laser beam. And there's much more to come. During recent tests over the Mediterranean Sea, the aerial laser system developed in partnership with Elbit Systems successfully shot down several UAVs from within a range of 1 kilometer, or just over half a mile away. And Israel says that within just a few years, they hope to have a more robust ground-based system, capable of intercepting rockets, mortars, and drones from a much longer range of about 20 kilometers, or 12 miles. Then, once deployed, such a system could be set up alongside Israel's existing missile defenses as a much, much cheaper supplement. Because as long as there's electricity and a clear enough sky, the laser can be fired accurately and indefinitely. Each Iron Dome missile, by comparison, costing tens of thousands of dollars, but would still be used where the laser falls short. Humanity's family tree getting shaken up recently by the discovery of a site in which both modern Homo sapiens, or us, and Neanderthals live together. But now, entirely new branches to the family tree may need to be added, and the rest of the branches rearranged, as Israeli researchers now describe a wholly new human species that may actually be more closely related to us than Neanderthals were thought to have been. In our new cousin's name, Homo Nesher Ramle.
Nesher Ramle findings are the missing piece in the puzzle that can help us explain open questions in human evolutionary history, and can give us indication of the origin, the source population of Neanderthals who lived later in Europe.
In any case, for more details, let's take a look at ILTV's interview with Israeli tour guide Hanat Arel.
Hey, Anat, thank you so much for joining us. Now, what is this new species? How was it discovered? And how would you describe it in relation to the Homo sapien and Neanderthals?
Hi, Aaron. Nice to see you again. Just last week, we talked about finding out that Neanderthals and Homo sapiens lived together right in this area, right? Mm-hmm. And less than a week later, we discover that we have found a new species older than Neanderthals in the same area, in this crossroads between the three continents. And the name of it is Nesher Ramla because it was discovered in some kind of a salvage excavation next to a cement factory near the city of Ramle, which is very close to the airport in the center of the country. Sure. So they decided to call it Nesher and Ramle. And what it tells us is that the beginnings of Neanderthals, we historians all thought that Neanderthals began in Europe, but more and more evidence is being presented slowly that Neanderthals actually began in this part of the world, in the Levant, on the Eastern Mediterranean. And that's what's so exciting.
So I understand from what I've read that the Nesher Ramle species is actually more closely related to Homo sapiens, however, than Neanderthals. So if the Nesher Ramle is older than the Neanderthals, how is that the case?
I think you have it a bit wrong. From what I read is that they're close to Neanderthals, and they're very close to ancient, what they call archaic Homo species. So the oldest part of the Homos that came out of Africa. So they are more ancient than Neanderthals, right? And what's so cool is 30 years ago, I used to teach human evolution to 6th graders in California. And I used to teach that first came the Australopithecus, and then the Homo habilis, and then the Homo erectus, and it was like this straight line. You remember that T-shirt that has the chimpanzee, and then this hominid walking in straighter and straighter, and then there's human, right?
But that's a bit of an oversimplification.
True, but we thought it was more of a straight line. And now we know that there's this huge tree with different branches of hominids, all used to live, many of them around here. And eventually, most of them died out until we are the only ones that stayed around.
But when we say these little branches, these little changes from one species to another, what separates us?
What separates us, first of all, hundreds of thousands of years. Okay. And what separates us is that when we discover a new species, we discover a species that has specific characteristics, a bigger jaw, a smaller chin. For example, the Nesher Ramle group, all right, had no chin. The chin was very small and the teeth were really big. And then, what is really cool is that we, or historians or archaeologists, have been finding pieces of this group for a number of years, and they couldn't catalog them because the way we document these bones is that all the bones with the same characteristics belong to the same group. And so all these pieces were discovered and just put in storage because they couldn't figure out where they belonged. And now they've discovered, they said, you know what? This must be a new species. And they've said, yes, it's a new one. So all of those pieces that are in storage that before they didn't know where it belonged, now all fall into place.
Now we know.
And so what separates us is, bigger eyebrows, bigger nose, bigger chin, no chin, bigger teeth.
Sure.
That's what separates all of us.
All right. Anat Harel, a pleasure as always. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much, Aaron.
Gilad Shalit, a former IDF soldier who was held captive by the Hamas terrorist organization in Gaza for 5 years, got married 10 years after he was released in a prisoner exchange. Shalit married his longtime girlfriend Nitzan Shabbat at an event hall in central Israel. The wedding was attended only by family and close friends. Prior to the wedding, the two also held a traditional henna ceremony, with pictures of the event going viral shortly after. Shalit, who is now 34 years old, became a national figure in 2006 when he was abducted by Hamas in a cross-border attack on Israel's border with the Gaza Strip. He was held for 5 years and 4 months, during which time he became a household name as Israelis rallied for his freedom. He was released in 2011 in a controversial prisoner exchange deal that included the release of over 1,000 Palestinian terrorists. Now, speaking of reasons to be proud, what has well over 20,000 thumbs and throws a really, really great party? Well, it's Tel Aviv's annual world-famous Gay Pride Parade, of course. The parade, including half a dozen large floats, a giant dance party at Charles Clough Park along the beach, and tens of thousands of participants from all over the country and abroad. And as opposed to last year when the parade and events were canceled entirely due to the pandemic, parade goers this year reporting feelings of incredible freedom.
I feel amazing, I feel open. I'm so happy to see the city full of people from all different colors and tendencies and likes, and everyone just like flagging their own love and will of life, and it's amazing to see, especially after COVID and after the war and after being so depressed and down.
Definitely. I mean, and it's great to feel life coming back to normal again, that people are really excited, people really enjoy it. So partly because this is the first COVID Pride, so that's a really exciting event of getting back to normal, but this is the 4th year we've done it, so we want to keep on doing it every year. It's a huge event in Israel, it's really fun, but also it shows we really strongly support the LGBT community in Israel, and this is the big day for them. So it's part of our program through the whole year.
And finally, we're going to learn a fun new take on a traditional Argentinian dessert, and you better believe it's got dulce de leche inside. Take a look.
I'd like to welcome my very good friend, Debbie Sandler from Joy of Chalab to our show today.
Hola Naomi, ¿cómo estás?
Buenos días.
Buenos días.
What are we going to be making today?
Vamos a hacer alfajores con nuez y chocolate.
Can we get a translation on that?
Oh, sure, I'm sorry. Yeah, we're going to do alfajores with walnuts and cocoa.
Debbie's from Argentina. How long have you been in the States?
Oh, like over 20 years.
20 years, and
Yeah.
we both still have our accent.
Yeah, I love it.
Okay, so they make a lot of dairy desserts in Argentina.
Yes, we do. We do sell a lot of butter and sour cream. So the cocoa usually comes with ground pieces. So I like to sift it.
Sift it, yeah.
Sift it. So we're going to first sift the flour, and then we're going to add the cocoa.
Is this
together.
a necessary, like people kind of like, they get baking recipes and they dump, but is it better to aerate
When
it?
you use cocoa, I think it is necessary. So let's start first with the flour. It's 200 grams of flour, that is a cup. And
I love that you're
so-
working in the metric system.
Oh yeah. But I measure also in cups, so everybody who doesn't do measurements can do in cups, and then we take the
Okay.
cocoa. You want to do it?
Yeah, I'm going to do it. I like how she did that. I've never done this before. This is a new technique for me to do. I'm just tapping it on the
Well,
side.
anyhow, sometimes this one is harder, so
Wow.
I take a spatula and I kind of like mix it. You
Oh, okay. I do see the big clumps of cocoa.
You see?
Yeah, fantastic.
You don't want that on your alfajor. Then
Yeah.
you like
Yeah,
chop
I'll be
one of those. It takes a little longer. That's why you have to sift.
Right, okay.
You grab it like this. I hold the ends so it doesn't come out this way. Okay. And we put it.
I say baking paper is your best friend in the
I
kitchen.
love it. Yeah.
I love baking paper.
And there you go. And this to the garbage. So here we have the walnuts. They're chopped. They're about a cup of walnuts. If you don't like walnuts, you can put almonds. And if you're allergic to nuts, don't use them.
Just skip it. Okay, so we're going to put in
We're
here
going to put it in here.
cup of chopped mix.
Yeah. Okay, and now comes the fun part.
The butter.
The butter.
They're like half-inch cubes or a centimeter cubes.
Yeah.
See, I'm
And,
keeping with the metric system.
Exactly. And soft.
And soft. Oh,
Very
it's room
important.
temperature.
Yeah. Just use your fingertips. You don't want to use the palm. You are not doing challah, you know,
Okay.
because you're working with batter. If you use your whole hand, the batter will get
warm.
warm, and you don't want extra warm in here because it will get sticky on your hands. So you just work with
The fingertips?
yeah, and with like
So
that.
I'm pinching it.
Yeah,
Am I
with the
pinch-
flour, mix it.
So I'm pinching the cocoa flour mixture with the butter.
Yeah, like that. Until you feel that there's no big clumps of butter anymore.
Okay, so that's nice and broken up, right?
You did great.
Yay! Okay.
You're hired.
I'm done. Okay, I'm in.
Okay, so we're going to leave this here for our next step. This is the attachment we're going to use. How do you call this attachment?
Sometimes it's paddle, sometimes it's beater. Up to you.
It looks like this.
Okay, let's put it on.
So we're going to get the egg
In here,
in there. One egg.
1 egg.
Then meanwhile you prepare 1 teaspoon vanilla extract.
Yeah.
And the whole thing of sugar.
All this sugar?
Yeah, it's
you
half a
beat,
cup.
I'll pour, okay?
Yeah. So much fun. And we give a good whisk here. Just to incorporate the sugar with egg, no more than that. Okay? Okay. Now we're going to put the egg with the sugar and the vanilla in here, and we're going to mix it. Make sure you get everything in.
Right. I
All
like
the
that
sugar.
you're using a rubber spatula. It's right in there, every nook and cranny.
Yeah. And now we're going to let the magic happen.
Okay, let's watch. So it's all coming together.
Yeah.
Oh,
You see the
good.
pieces of
That made a
walnuts?
dough.
You see? That's the walnuts. Okay, you ready? Look at that.
Oh, wow.
Look at those nuts.
Okay, so it
So
really feels like
the-
a dough.
Yeah.
It feels
the
like
key
cookie dough.
also of when you do alfajores, not to touch it so much. When you work too much the dough, it becomes very stiff and doesn't have the air. Remember when you had my alfajores? It had like an air. Also, this walnut dough in Argentina, most of the bloggers are using it now. They're trying to bring different flavors
I
into
love
the
that.
alfajor.
Changing it up a little
I
bit.
love it. So this is the key of to have a good rolling dough.
Okay, we're gonna put this on here.
The paper curls up.
Yeah.
So when you're rolling,
You're
the,
fighting the
you're fighting with a parchment paper. So you put it down like this. You're not fighting with a paper.
That's why we have you sunny side up.
You see?
Oh,
Just for this.
fantastic.
Just for this.
Okay.
Another tip. I put a tip of the paper like that. My counter is
You
a
put
little
your-
shorter.
You put your hip against it.
And your body rolls the dough. You see? So we want this to go to the fridge. The batter will get hardened. Then it will be a little harder to make it. You have to like push your cookie dough.
But that's good. We
But
want that.
We want that.
Because cold butter makes pockets of steam and they make the delicious fluffiness of the cookie. I think that's really important.
Yeah. And also keeps the shape. Okay. Let's put this in the fridge. So it came out of the fridge. And
Okay.
it's hard. You see that it's hard?
Yeah, it's very thin. So just push it in
Yeah.
and twist it.
Yeah.
And I pick it up
Yeah.
and I put it here.
Yeah. You may have to put your finger inside.
Oh, yay!
Yay! So now we're going to bake it 300 for 20 minutes.
300.
Yeah.
So slow oven.
Slow for 20 minutes.
They're out of the oven, but do I spy dulce de leche?
Yeah, you're so good. It's not peanut butter.
Oh my God, I could literally I love dulce de
I
leche.
know.
Dulce de leche is like a thickened
Like
caramel.
Yeah, well, actually, dulce de leche comes in different thicknesses.
Okay,
So
explain.
you can have the syrup one, like you go to a
Coffee
coffee
shop.
shop, yeah, or you put it on ice cream, like the hot fudge dulce
Yeah.
de leche. And then you have the traditional dulce de leche, the one in Argentina we use a lot, that actually we use it for breakfast or tea time, like we said, on our toast.
Caramel on toast.
Yep.
It's definitely different than Vegemite, where how I grew up.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's not the healthiest, but it's the yummiest. Then the bakers, they couldn't bake with that because if you use that thinner or less body dulce de leche, it will not stand nicely. So here I use the thicker consistency. In Argentina we call it repostero. Okay, repostero. Because repostero means you're a baker. So the baker needs repostero. If you see, the alfajores here has like a little belly, and here is more flat. We're going to put it in this side, on the one that is facing up the tray, and I will show you why. And look at this dulce de leche, you see?
Oh, it's like a Hershey kiss.
A traditional dulce de leche will not do this. This was on the bottom,
Yep.
touching your tray. This one was up. So we're going to put it like this. And why I do this, because this we're going to cover it in chocolate. Then when we cover it with chocolate, it will stay flatter
Okay.
in both sides.
Okay, fantastic. All right.
You can do more. And go up, that's it.
How was that?
That was great.
Turn it over.
Yeah.
These are in the freezer.
Yes.
And that is?
White chocolate.
Oh, yum. Yum!
Milky white chocolate.
Milky white chocolate.
So we're going to dip them, okay?
Okay, how do we do this without like getting everything all over us?
It'll
get all over you no matter what.
You try. The good thing is we have parchment paper and we have our placemats. We're good. So we're going to dump it in. And I like to put just the chocolate in top of it and kind of like disappear.
Sink it into that white chocolate.
And then with the help of a fork, you bring it in and you smooth it out. After that, you put it right straight on your parchment paper and let it settle. And then we have this.
These are amazing.
And we put it right away before the chocolate dries. Right there.
Oh, right on top.
How about that?
So you can use whichever flavorings you want.
Yeah, this is hazelnut brittle. And what is that?
Almond brittle.
Yeah.
Crunch and topping. Actually.
Yeah. So when this is done, you're done. You cover all your alfajores. You let it. You can put it in the fridge or in a cool room, whatever. If your kitchen is hot, put it in the fridge and you let it set.
Oh my God, these look amazing. They look amazing. Okay, what are we gonna do? We just pick one up? They look like little mini cheesecakes, but it's alfajores.
Alfajores.
With a twist. Okay, here we go.
Look. The white chocolate. And even if you think that you don't like nuts, it's such a good combination.
I just went into my own little world over there. I did not let anything around me just, I just was thinking about this. And every bite and every chew was just, this is probably the best dessert I've had in the world.
Wow.
I've seen a lot of the world. This is just,
What a compliment.
you have made me speechless.
Wow.
You finished the show out.
Okay, for more recipes like this and more, go to kosher.com.
And that's all for today's Good Week Israel. Hope we've helped you start your week with a smile. I'm Ladarga Velazi. See you next week.